Just going to continue on the nose, still working to increase the value to make it match what I'm seeing on my paper. Because once again, it is very important when you are drawing a person or anything to make sure that you are paying attention to what you are drawing more than your paper so that you can really make that value match, because that's what's going to make your things believable and realistic and recognizable for that matter. So right here again, I'm just going layer after layer, adding more shadows to the area that need more shadow, allowing some of the areas to remain lighter where they need to, changing the shape of things a little bit if I need to. For instance, this reflected light needs to come down further here and be a little less round up here. So I'm going to change that a little bit with the shadow first, but then I would go in with my kneaded eraser and soften up some of that new reflected light there. Then I'll take that shading down a little bit lower as well. This is on the actual nostril itself. That looks a little more accurate. Notice also that I have not used a tortillon at all. You could, as usual, but you do want to make sure that you are creating your value transitions with your pencil, not with the tortillon. So here I'm just kind of working on the top of the nostril. Squinting helps because you can see sort of where those value transitions are a little bit more clearly. Just gonna darken the area here a little bit. Once again, still leaving that reflected light showing. But I just noticed that this area is darker than what I have it as. So I'm going to soften that one little spot where I pressed down a little too hard. Go in with my tortilla and just kind of lift some of that up a bit. And then I'm going to also use my tortilla just to soften my reflected light here so that it's not too bright. Because it should not be lighter than the highlight. The highlight should still be the brightest part of that nose. So then I'm just going to go back in, and if I had my 8B with me, I'd be using that on this nostril, but I just got my 6B. So what I'm going to do is just make it as dark in there as I can, but still have it fade a little bit into the space under it. And once again, that nose is not necessarily 100% complete. There are still a little bit of areas where I would want to do some more shading, especially as I would be continuing into the rest of the face around it. But hopefully that at least helps you see a bit of the process of those profile noses, because once again, you are required to do all 3 of these noses, and they will happen exactly the same way that I just showed you. You'll start with just the circles, and then sort of adding the outlines, and then a little bit of shading, and you'll build up that shading in layers as you go.